Howdy, it is Monday evening. Welcome back to West Coast Goldies. I'm starting to get like a little, like a minor cold. Started last night, continued today, so I've been trying to rest, drink a lot of water. Um, so I haven't done much today. You can kind of hear it in my voice probably, but this is week 5, which means something a little interesting. That means that at the end of this week, we will be a quarter of the way through our 20-week commitment to Goldfish Odyssey, this series. So it's like exciting because quarter of the way through, that's an accomplishment. I feel I've done it every week, but also the series hasn't gained any traction yet, which that's fine. That's what this series is to find out: is if there's an audience for this. If people want to watch me keep Goldfish, you can. But if not, at the end of this 20 weeks, we'll stop documenting. Um, but it makes me feel good that I can finish this out quarter of the way through, 5 weeks down. Well, at the end of this week, it'll be 5 weeks down. The breadstick's a little hungry. Let's give her two little pellets and bubbles too. Or JY Aquarium pellets. They get a bigger scoop because, they eat a lot in here. Bingo. Pellets on there. Oh, Mrs. Tomato, she sees it. Yeah, now we're talking, Mrs. Tomato. Get some of that. Eat up. Eat up. Nice. Let's give a little bit of sesame and espresso as well. And I wonder if we can spot any shrimp today. None immediately visible. I've started a new thing. I don't know if I mentioned this. I've been turning off all the lights during the daytime. Normally, I just have it all on a timer, on all day. But I think for maintenance, for algae growth, for everything really, I leave the light on the carpet algae tank on all day. But I've been shutting off these 3 tank lights just to, it seems like a better deal. When I'm not in here, when I'm not looking at it, doesn't make sense to leave it on. Pond fish are doing good as well. I'm not going to do much more with them today. I'm going to continue chugging my water. Hope that I sleep well and wake up feeling a little more, better tomorrow, and more inclined to start some kind of project with these guys. Breadstick, come on, show off for the camera. There you go. Now we're talking. Good morning. It is Tuesday. I feel a lot better today. I rested up quite a bit yesterday, drank a lot of water, did a bunch of stuff to try to get rid of this. I'm a little congested still, but mostly feeling really way better. So, quick cold. I don't know that I have anything specific in mind for goldfish keeping today. We'll see. Maybe I can come up with something. Hello. It's Saturday evening. Okay, mistakes were made this week. I was super busy. My cold / I think it's allergies, but it's been bad allergies all week long. So my energy and just how I'm feeling hasn't been great. And then I was super busy on top of that. And so I didn't film because I've done like nothing with the fish. I barely even got to feed them. I'll insert a great clip of Breadstick I just caught. She's got a huge turd right now. It's getting longer actually. So they're clearly able to eat even when I don't feed them, because she's been munching on the algae and the duckweed. But man, it's Saturday and there's like almost nothing filmed for the week. So I'm going to try to get some maintenance done today, and maybe, I'm going to try to do something tomorrow to make this
finish this week strong, because this week makes a quarter of the way through my 20-week challenge for myself. At least this is the first week where I've basically almost forgotten that I'm doing this at all. But I mean, hey, week 5, 4 weeks strong. Week 5 fell off a little bit. Hopefully next week we can start strong again. Although I'm really busy next week, so I don't think so. Just kidding. But we're not giving up though. So yeah, let's try to get to doing some stuff. I've also not even checked on our pond fish. Um, well, it's not empty. The sunset's reflecting in the pond. That's nice. Let's get a shot of that. Oh, that's pretty. You can see the sun or the beautiful. Oh yeah, that's nice. Sunset reflected in the pond. Is Peach still in here? Peach. I sure hope so. I don't actually see her. Should I be worried? Oh, there she is. She's hiding back there. Okay, she's fine. Peach is good. Hey, everybody else is good too. It's been really cold though. This morning when I woke up, it was so cold that actually there was frozen puddles on the ground. Totally frozen. But for tonight, I think we'll start with most urgent water change. And not that their water is even dirty, because if you look from the top down, you'll see it's crystal clear. But the algae on the front, you can see it. It's growing. And their poop could be siphoned. Because breadstick is just, that is big. Breadstick. Okay, squeezed the sponge, scraped the front, and started the water change there. They're fine, they're eating the algae. They're getting some exercise. They're okay. Bubbles is foraging. That's really thick, though. Let's feed them some JY aquarium pellets. I was trying to brainstorm ways or things to do to make the rest of this week at least mildly interesting. I was gonna go to the Aquarium Co-op storefront today because it's actually not too far from my house. It's like an hour drive. But then I found out that they close at basically there's not enough time for me to drive there before they close. So not today, maybe tomorrow, that'd be nice. But also in general, my guppy shrimp tank here, the population's low. I only started with like 4 guppies. And they breeded, and then the parents died. And there's probably 10 to 20 babies hiding in there. But I'd love to introduce a different type of guppy, maybe even a couple new types of shrimp to see what is happy. Oh, they smell the pellets, but they haven't found them yet. They're falling from the sky. There you go. There you go. Delicious. Delicious. You're looking in the wrong place, Mrs. Tomato. They're all at the surface over here. Oh, she's thinking about it. Nope, close. Oh, got one. Ooh, man, they're excited. They're like, but this guy hasn't given us real pellets in a while. We've been eating duckweed every day. But I mean, you can tell they've been eating because that poop wasn't there before. So they're finding stuff to eat. There was 2 or 3 baby guppies in this tank that aren't. I don't see them this second. Oh, they're up there. Thought they got eaten for a second, but they're good for now. But back to visiting Aquarium Co-op. They're not too far from me. I was going to go today. Didn't work out. But in general, they should be opening the new part of the store soon. And I did message them. I DM'd them or emailed them. I can't remember which. And I said, hey, by chance, are you guys going to give like any behind-the-scenes tours before it opens? And they very nicely replied. They didn't have to reply at all, but they did reply, and I appreciated that. And they said, no, not really. So, bummer. But, oh well, I tried. And when there is a grand opening, I will try to go for the new half of the storefront. Um, Definitely, because I mean, they have great products, they have great fish, great storefront, great YouTube channel. So it really is a bummer. The green carpet algae that I really want growing in the carpet algae tank grows rather well in this fish tank. That nice green color. There's no yellowish tint to it. It's just fluffy, happy green. And so I'm like, should I try this light up there? But I don't think it's any different. I don't know if it's the same light. I have 2 lights on that tank. I've had 2 lights on it for going on 2 or 3 weeks. But oh, my prayer plant fell in. I gotta get that out. Come on. Poor thing. I really enjoy putting roots of plants in stuck together. The prayer plant has this bad habit of turning its leaves to the light and then falling in, throwing itself in the water. But most of the other plants do amazing. Luke's Goldies had a video this week where he kind of dove into a fear that some of his goldfish may have eaten leaves of the pothos and then died from it. So that's kind of on my mind, but I'm not sure. Just not sure. But today was actually the last day of the creator fund for TikTok, which is kind of the reason I'm switching to YouTube. Is basically the small amount of pennies a day I was getting from TikTok is ending, and so trying out YouTube. That's why. But also TikTok's new way to make small revenue for creators is basically videos over a minute. So I applied to get in that now. And I'm thinking what a lot of people are doing, I've seen, like Luke's Goldies is doing, is his videos are still under a minute, and then he just adds on clips of the fish swimming at the end to make it over a minute so it gets monetized. So I'm thinking of, because I'm not really making new content on TikTok, I'm focusing most everything on here, posting clips of it over there, but I'm thinking of starting to repost all of my, maybe not all my TikToks, but some of my favorites, some of what I consider my best ones, with more clips added of fish at the end, so they're over a minute, to see what that does. Because after all, the frustrating thing about TikTok is over 100K followers, or I have, yeah, over 100,000 followers, but every time I post something, hardly any of the followers see it. So I don't feel bad like spamming my previous content over again, because the odds that it will annoy anyone are low because none of my followers see my posts. So it's kind of weird that way. That's the TikTok dilemma. We're almost ready to fill this up. But besides what I just mentioned, the only other things I'm looking to post on TikTok now are just to keep up with trends. But there's a trend right now that I want to try, but I don't quite know how. It's basically those trends on TikTok with like the 2 photos you slide. There's one I saw, business in the front, party in the back. It's like, the one I saw was a person that like had sunglasses on, like business in the front, and then when they turned around, they had a backpack on, like with their dog with sunglasses on. And I thought, how good would it be to do a business in the front picture, party in the back, with like a small fish tank strapped to my back with a couple of my goldfish in it. So I'm brainstorming. I need to just take one of my, because I have a small display tank. I need to take it, and I want to try to figure out how to keep it on my back for a good picture, because I don't know, I think it'd be funny. So like, this is dumb, but I kind of want to figure it out. This is my tank that I feel like there's a way that this can work. It's going to be sketch, and like I'll need a spotter, aka my wife, to make sure it doesn't fall off my back. But I have extra climbing rope. I used to do rock climbing. And I have a backpack. I have more backpacks. I feel like there's a scenario where I use the climbing rope around the tank in the backpack to keep it there. But then how much water can I put in without breaking my back? It just needs to be long enough for a picture with the goldfish. And if you're thinking, that's cruel to the goldfish, they love adventure. They love doing stuff. They like me. And I'll use their own tank water, so there's no shock involved as far as water quality change. And I'm not going to be like jumping with them in it. It's just going to be a simple transfer to the tank in the back for like 2 pictures, and then back in their aquarium. They get more stress from a water change than that, as long as nothing goes wrong. So I'm gonna see if we can figure this out. Okay, I did it. Business in the front, party in the back is complete. Um, with the help of my wife, we filled the tank halfway and put those 2 fish down there in here. And as you can see, they're doing fine now. Didn't bother them a bit. Filling back up, finishing their water change up. I mean, we'll see how the pictures turn out. I'll post it in here. Well, in a second. I'm pretty sure it's gonna look dumb and weird. But sometimes you gotta think of something, you gotta just try it, even if it doesn't turn out. And I'm not the type to abandon something just because I'm not 100% happy with it in the end. Because I feel like you never know when a lot of people might say, "What do you mean? That's great." So I mean, I don't think it's great this time. But you be the judge. Here it is. Anyways, back to water changes. I was thinking too, as far as this episode, I mean, I'm concerned about how much filming I'll be able to do today and tomorrow. This is probably just about it for today. Tomorrow I'll do my best, but I suppose it's fine considering last week's was pretty long. It was like 45 minutes, I think. So if Goldfish Odyssey Week 5 is too short for you, go back and make sure you watch last week's. Okay, it's Sunday, and the perfect way to end the week is with me recording for like 5 minutes and realizing the microphone was dead. It's just the perfect end to this week. Obviously, this is not going to be the best Goldfish Odyssey week, and that's okay. I'd rather put out something than nothing because I've committed myself to do this for 20 weeks. So I'm putting this out even if it's an uneventful week. But it is good to show in general that even though I have this many fish tanks, if I'm not feeling well or I'm busy, which has been the combination this week, that everything pretty much can be maintained with pretty minimal effort. Like, I haven't done much with the fish and everybody's still alive. Everybody has clean water. So there's comfort in that. If you haven't tried these Whole Foods gummy stars, you're really missing out. But yeah, not every episode can be the best episode. And I feel like the first 4 were solid. I'm happy enough with them. This is going to be, well, it is what it is. Kind of an off week. Now, next week, I'm also going to be really busy, but hopefully I'll feel better, and so we'll be able to film more. So hopefully it's just a temporary setback, but got to celebrate the little things. And this is a quarter of the way through my 20-week commitment challenge for myself. Quarter of the way done. Pretty good. There are definitely some interesting things I'm trying to do before the end of the series as far as leaving the fish room and filming interesting things. Hopefully, those things get to happen. Some of them aren't really on my timetable, waiting on other people. So we'll see. For the rest of this video, and maybe other weeks when there's not super anything eventful going on, I can pick different fish keeping aspects to talk about for a couple minutes. Bear with me. It's not like I rehearsed this. Okay, this is a truly vlog style. But something I think about a lot is where people go for advice when they're starting out fish keeping. And there's good places and bad places for sure. If you're a beginner fish keeper, I almost recommend you don't ask anyone questions. Online, I should say. Usually, if you find someone, well, don't ask pet store employees questions either, because the variables and the variance of their knowledge is going to be so wide that you just don't know if you're going to get good information. If you have a friend that is fish keeping, bounce questions off of them and use them as a guide. If none of your friends are into fish keeping and you're just starting this journey alone and you're a beginner, just consume as many YouTube videos as you can and learn that way. Just watch videos, watch videos. There are so many good creators who have put out more than enough content for someone to get all the information they need to start a good tank. And then, but you'll still have things come up and you'll feel the need, like, oh, this isn't working out right. You'll feel the need to ask people online. Go on a subreddit or Instagram or whatever, and you'll ask someone a question. And I just find more times than not, people are so mean to beginners in this hobby. So I'm sorry, but because of this culture of the extreme rudeness, I almost recommend not asking questions, because you can learn everything you need to learn from YouTube on this subject. And then when specific questions come up, you can usually find the answer because usually someone else has also asked that question. It's just about learning how to search for it. I figured that out quickly when I first started keeping goldfish. Basically, I posted a question on Reddit on r/goldfish and got, eaten alive. Even though I wasn't even really doing anything crazy wrong, just had a simple question. And that's the experience of a lot of people. But the nice thing about Reddit is you can search for those people's questions and go back and look at it. So that's what I found myself doing when I came up with a goldfish keeping question, is I would go to Reddit and search on r/goldfish for people that had the same experience that I was going through. And then I could read what advice people gave to them. And it wasn't so stressful with people talking to me. They were attacking the other person, and I just got to reap the results of the good answers that they did get, which were few. But and then if you've watched as many YouTube videos as you can, and you have made sure that no one has asked the specific question before, if there's still something that you really need answered, then dip your toes into maybe asking someone who might know at a fish store or an online forum if you dare. It's pretty risky. I will say the Discord groups that have popped up for fish keeping are generally a lot better. I know a lot of people justify themselves for the harsh response they give to beginners about, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, because you're taking care of an animal. There should be certain standards. You want the animal to be healthy, happy, have a good life. And I love goldfish. but it's still just a goldfish. You gotta calibrate. I can believe it's just a goldfish and still work really hard to make sure it has a good life and properly support good fish keeping techniques in general. But a beginner, I don't know anyone who didn't kill fish when they first started. And so that's just something that happens because it's not easy to start. There's a steep learning curve. And it seems most fish keepers understand and make that allowance for each other, that some fish die more than others. Some people kill more starting out than others. And people that keep other pets are going to find this hard to understand because, you don't buy 10 dogs and 9 die and you're like, well, the one survived. So, that's pretty good. But you might do that with fish. Or 10 cats and half of them die. And you're like, yeah, no big deal. No. But with fish, that's a part of it because they're so much harder to keep alive than a dog or a cat or a bunny or even lizards and snakes. You mess up one little thing for a fish and it dies. You buy the wrong fish and it dies. You don't catch something early with a fish and it dies. You do everything right and your tap water is bad, straight from the tap, and it dies. We try our best, but it happens. And even when if we figure out our fish is sick, it's not easy to take to the vet. There's very few aquatic vets and they're expensive. Some do, Zoom calls with you and stuff, but for the most part, someone with a sick fish, they're just going to try to heal it on their own with meds, and sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. Great podcast recommendation for all fish keepers is the Pond Digger podcast. He has an episode with a aquatics vet, doctor. I don't remember her name. Let me look. The episode is the Pond Digger podcast, episode 132, Should We Medicate Our Koi, with Dr. Jessie Sanders. And she talks about koi and goldfish and just kind of fish in general. And she's a fish vet. And it was fascinating. She said a lot of stuff that totally contradicted everything I've heard from fish keepers, which was both shocking and interesting. And she also said a lot of stuff that made me totally rethink whether me or anyone should really even be keeping fish. Because, man, it seems, from some of the stuff she said, it seems that almost no one's qualified to really be fish keeping if they're trying to play doctor and medicate their fish. But then if no one's qualified, then everyone should go to an aquatics vet. But almost no one is or will be going to an aquatic vet. So it's this catch-22 of you either play doctor yourself and try it out, or you go to an aquatics vet. But neither are good options for some people. So it was a very interesting podcast. Definitely give it a listen. Also, if you own some type of fish business, if you're in Washington, if you have some sort of fish or aquatic plants or snails or shrimp business and you're open for tours, I would absolutely love to come and get a tour. And for anybody out there with like a really successful business, but you're still looking for people to come take tours, I am totally willing to get on a plane and fly to like Goldfish Island, for example. They're a goldfish company in Massachusetts, I think. If they want me to come take a tour of their facility, yeah, absolutely, I'll do that. Sure, why not? So, but of course, if you're closer, that's better. Mark my words. If I am able to visit Luke's Goldies fish farm at some point before this 20 weeks is up, I will. I'm not sure that's in the cards, but I will make an attempt. That just reminded me, I was dosing this tank with Green Water Labs, like algae. It's not algaecide because it's supposed to be all natural. But I forgot to dose it on the last water change. So I need to put some in. First bottle down. Green Water Labs Algae Control. They sent me 4 bottles for free, which was very nice of them. And that was kind of a lot to send me, but also the dosing is quite high, so I kind of understand. There's one of my little black crystal shrimp. I have 2 in this tank. They have lived, happily and healthily for going on 1.5 years, I think. And they were actually from some of the first shrimp I got. And I was under the impression that if I did one thing wrong, they would die. But they have just been absolutely hardy and amazing. And our nice blue velvet shrimp tank. They're doing quite well. I've started upping the feeding for them because we started to get a stall in the population. Like the shrimp were still giving birth, but I think a lot of the other ones were dying, and so I'm going to start feeding it more so that they all have enough to eat to keep that population booming, especially with the snails too. I want more snails in here. Then there's our pond friends. Let's check up on them. 52 Fahrenheit, that's not too bad. And they're all living their best life. I was noticing some fungusy looking stuff on Pom Pom yesterday, but she's looking pretty good. I know they're prone to so many more fungusy type things out here in the pond. I might, it could be good to dose this whole pond with methylene blue well, no, that would crash the cycle. Maybe not. Definitely maybe methylene blue baths for them every 6 months, just as a preventative measure. It's probably a good idea. But I better end it here because I still have to edit this video tonight for posting in the morning. Schedule it for 9 a.m. So if you've watched this extremely boring video, thank you. If you want to watch something more interesting, there are other videos on my channel. There's even, this is the vlog week 5. But I think I have 5 or 6 other videos I put on this channel before I start doing the vlogging. So if you want to watch more and you've already watched all the weekly vlogs, you can check those out. A favorite is mine on the video, I don't know what I titled it. It's basically how many goldfish should you keep in a tank. I also kind of like the one where I ask AI goldfish keeping questions. That was pretty interesting. And you know what, tying back to what we were talking about, if you have a fish keeping question and you don't want to post it on a forum, AI can usually, from what I saw, it did really pretty well. But yeah, thank you for watching, and don't forget to be happy. Could that be my slogan? Don't forget to be happy? I don't know, it's a little cheesy.